also from West Side Story. Brand new. It's in cinemas now. 2021 remake of the 1961 classic, revered by many for years as one of the best visual musicals put to the screen. Ryan, have you seen it?
I have not,
I
unfortunately.
have also not seen it.
It is on TV over Christmas.
Well,
what day? I can't remember, unfortunately. But it is showing, I believe, on BBC 1 or 2.
I see. Interesting.
Yes.
So it's available to watch.
Yes.
If our review
and it will be on
interests you.
iPlayer as well.
It will
afterwards.
be on iPlayer. If our review interests you, that's also available to watch. However, we are going to recommend this film.
Absolutely.
Directed by Steven Spielberg, the great, the classic. It would take me hours to list all the amazing films Steven Spielberg has worked on or made or directed or produced. The man is a machine, and he has never stopped for as long as he's been breathing. It's written by, I believe that is, I've written that terribly. Tony Kushner.
Tony Kushner.
Wrote the screenplay, and Arthur Lawrence wrote the original book that the film is based on. I believe that's the book that
The stage play, yeah.
Stage play book, you know what I mean. It is starring a cast of not that recognizable names, however, names that you will not forget. Ansel Elgort is playing Tony. Of course, we must address there is some slight controversy surrounding Ansel Elgort a few years back regarding some, I believe it's something I'd rather not mention.
Yeah,
icky stuff. So for the duration of this review, we'd like to preference by saying that we are separating the art from the artist here, while we are praising Ansel Elgort for his performance in this film, as it is very good, and we can't deny that the man has a great voice and does well within this film. Because of his actions, because of the allegations, it's hard to really praise him in any way. So we don't support Ansel Elgort that much. We don't support his actions. We don't think he's that great of a person. But in this film, he's really good, and we can't really deny that he's really good.
So when we're supporting this film, we're supporting Steven Spielberg.
We're supporting Steven Spielberg, and
Rachel
Zegler. This is Rachel Zegler's first film credit, which is the most insane thing I've ever heard. Because not only is she fit for the screen, absolutely, it's cookie cutter placed in there. It's so perfect. The woman has got one of the most incredible voices I've ever heard, especially in film. She is fantastic.
Yeah, she, as you say, cookie cutter, but she is literally like, I feel like she is the manifestation of classic Hollywood musical actress.
Yes.
Steven Spielberg has somehow managed to find just an incredible performer.
This is the 24-carat diamond in the group of diamonds.
Yes.
This is the forget the rough. They're out of the rough. They're in the diamonds, and this is that one that shines bright. Rachel Zegler is incredible as Maria. Outstanding.
Yes.
For a first film credit, it's insane.
Yes.
And she's also playing Snow White in the upcoming live-action version of Snow White.
I'm
excited for a live-action Disney
film
remake.
That I was never, not worried about it in the slightest.
Exactly. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. You have Ariana DeBusse, who is playing Anita. You have David Alvanze. I butchered that completely.
Alvarez.
My God. As Bernardo. You've got Mike Feist as Riff. Josh Andre Riviera as Chino. Brian, is that Darcy James? As Officer Kripke. And Rita Moreno, who plays Valentina. And now, interesting point about Rita Moreno here. She was in the original film.
Yes.
She played Anita in the first West Side Story from 1961.
That's a really good throwback.
A nice little throwback there.
Yeah.
Nice little throwback.
Especially considering she also gets a musical number in this brand new one all to herself as well.
She does.
Yeah.
She does.
That's very nice.
It is very nice. This whole film is very nice. The West Side Story, I actually had no interest in seeing this, which I think is criminal looking back on it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The trailer didn't sell me on the film. I thought it looked very pretty, but I didn't think anything of it.
It also wasn't marketed that well.
No, it wasn't.
I don't think.
Pretty bad. I think
for a Spielberg film, Spielberg is a name. Spielberg is the creator, the actual founder of the blockbuster movie.
Yeah.
And the fact that other than a few trailers before Dear Evan Hansen and other musicals, we saw nothing for this film. That's quite shocking.
I think there's a problem at Disney with the way 20th Century Fox films are being marketed.
Absolutely.
Because the exact same thing happened with The Last Duel.
Yes.
Its marketing budget was terrible. Nobody knew this film was out. And West Side Story is suffering from the same fate. A fate that is a great injustice to this film. I was blown away.
Yeah.
Absolutely, undeniably blown away by this film. Maybe my expectations were so low that seeing this film blew them out of the water, but I even knew it was going to be good going in because of the reaction I'd seen on Twitter. There were people on Twitter ranking this film in like the 3 or 2 spot of their top 5 Spielberg films. And Spielberg has made so many great films that it's like, are you kidding me? You're putting it above these classics, and this film is just sitting in there perfectly. And I see why. This film is amazing.
Absolutely. It feels like classic Spielberg as
well. So classic. This is the encapsulation of the word golden Hollywood era.
Yes.
It is gorgeous to look at. It is fun. It's bouncy. It's fast. It's visually stunning. I can't get over how good it looks.
No.
It's performed amazingly. Every song is memorable. Every number is incredible. It's so kinetic. It's so flowing. Spielberg put his entire heart into this film.
It definitely does feel like a love letter to Hollywood.
It does.
But it feels like such a personal one from Steven Spielberg. The fact that like some of his previous most recent previous films, I mean, like we have Ready Player One and Ready Player. I'm not huge on Ready Player.
Neither am I.
But let's be fair, Steven Spielberg does make that a spectacle. Steven Spielberg always knows how to make an image look absolutely incredible, even when it's watered down and less showy. Remember The Post with Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep? That was a very, very, not to say quaint, but that was a very low like Spielberg film. But that was also really, really well made and very cinematic.
It's fun because you look at the films that Spielberg has directed, and you see the big names. You see stuff like Jaws, Close Encounters of the Third Time, Indiana Jones, E.T., all this different stuff. But there are, in recent years, he has been more of an, I don't want to say underground, but more of a low, head to the ground kind of thing. He's done stuff like The Terminal, The War Horse, Lincoln, Bridge of Spies,
Bridge
The
of
Post.
Spies is great as well.
They're all just smaller films, and I think West Side Story is almost as if, like, looking at his, looking at stuff he's directed previously to now, the last kind of big, huge film like this that I remember from seeing from Spielberg would be something like Hook or Jurassic Park from 93 and
exactly,
stuff.
This West Side Story proves that Spielberg still has it and still makes absolutely magical and memorable, just sweeping cinematic films. And I've missed it.
I've missed it so much.
I've missed it. This felt so brilliant.
From the opening crane shot to every other scene in this film, it is perfection. There's something about the way it's filmed. I think it is cranes. He uses cranes a lot. The set looks very nice. It's very well built.
It feels classic as well.
It feels classic.
A complaint that I might hear from some people could be that, well, we've already had a West Side Story film and it was made in the 60s, so therefore why should we have a new West Side Story film that looks like and feels like it was made also in the 60s, but just cleaner and fresher? But honestly, I've missed big budget musicals like this that looks that good just shown in a cinema. We've had In the Heights this year, we've had Dear Evan Hansen, and on Netflix we had Tick Tick Boom, all of which are musicals, all of which are to varying degrees of good or bad, let's say. But none of them have I haven't walked away from any of them in complete awe of what someone is able to do in terms of a musical with the camera.
It's funny. It's funny. We just talked about stuff like Spider-Man No Way Home and how this film's dominating at the box office because it's a nostalgia-filled film that people are paying to see as if it's an amusement ride. And then you have West Side Story, which is one of the best films I've seen this year with no marketing, but from an amazing director who has such a back catalogue that his name alone should be selling tickets.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's gone on completely under the radar. Nobody's seeing it, but it's incredible. The cinematography is fantastic.
Oh, it's some of the best of the year.
All-inspiring.
There's shots in here which are
ingrained in your brain.
Beautiful. Yeah.
They are up there in some of my favorite ones. There's one particular shot, which the only downside to it is that it features Ansel Elgort.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But there is one shot in which he just steps into a puddle, and it's a close-up bird's eye view medium that's a downward angle facing down to him, and the way that Spielberg got those lights to shimmer perfectly on that puddle is kind of like mind-blowing.
Exactly, yeah.
It's technically incredible. It's such an amazing period piece. Everything in this film is perfect. Every costume is colourful. Every car is colourful. Every set is unique. Every location is great. Everyone acts to the time. Everyone speaks to the time. There's nothing out of place.
It's also it's a very long film. I think it is longer than the original film, and it runs for, I think, 2 hours 36 minutes. It's a very long film, and while you feel it, never once I didn't want to leave.
No,
like while I was watching it, I was like, this is going along, and I felt the time, but I was so it felt so nice to finally be watching a film this good again.
Yeah,
and this classic. These are the kind of things like Singing in the Rain, On the Town, the classic Hollywood musicals, which had a very big push with choreography, with dance numbers, with knowing how to move the camera in between every single performer. And we've lost that somehow. Yeah. I don't know how, but In the Heights, let's take that for example. In the Heights has some fantastic choreography, but the way that the camera moves around everyone blocks a lot of that beauty, I think. Mm-hmm. The same with how certain shots are composited. The one that I'm thinking in my head is the one where they're at like a pool. They're at the beach party and they're checking lottery numbers.
Yeah,
brilliant musical sequence, but I think it's muddied by the fact that the camera just moves so quickly and doesn't allow all of the people to be actually taken on board.
This film has long shots.
Exactly.
Shots that draw themselves out, let themselves breathe. Editing has become too quick in films, I think. People are they're too quick to be like, we must keep the attention by showing every reaction, everyone's face at every moment, all the time. Mm-hmm. And it really takes away from seeing a film like this. And West Side Story proves that having those longer shots, letting them breathe, letting the entire scene be taken in by your eyes before switching to another camera in a different shot, proves how appreciative that is. Mm-hmm. There are incredible dance sequences that are maybe 5, 6, 7 different shots that all last 10 to 20 to 30 seconds, and they are fantastic because of it. And it's great seeing all these characters and actors and performers have so much fun with what they're given as well. The dance scenes are quick, so quick. The way those people move is kind of outstanding. How a body can move that quickly.
It also feels real. There's many times in which the performers dancing may not be 100% perfect, and I absolutely loved it. You'll have 3 people, let's say, on screen at the same time doing the exact same dance, but there's tidbits of like movement that are just different. But it not only does it add so much more to each and every single character in the film, all of which are really, really investing, and like you feel for everyone in the film, but it just feels like a real musical, and I loved it for all of that. It's one of the best films of the year, and I wish it was going to be in cinemas for longer.
I wish so too.
This should be one of the ones that gets so many screenings a day.
It is. But unfortunately, No Way Home is dominating everything.
Exactly, yeah.
The one upside to this is that because 20th Century Fox is now owned by Disney, West Side Story will soon be on Disney+.
Yes.
Meaning that you will actually be able to watch this film soon.
Honestly, they should have... Even though this came out, literally, I think it was 10th of December this came out, this would be 100%... If Disney were wise and they released this as their Christmas Day movie... Yep. That would be an absolutely outstanding move.
But it's not.
They're never going to do it.
It's Encanto this year. Encanto is released on Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, yeah.
Which is, it's not bad. It's good for the family.
Absolutely.
It's a Disney film, so you can't really go wrong. But I think having West Side Story be that film would be incredible. And I think they would get so much praise for that because people will be seeing it.
Yeah.
And when it does come on Disney Plus, you can guarantee I will be telling every soul I know, go watch this film because it's worth it.
I think it's alongside the original, this is going to become a classic. It might not do incredibly well with an awards season
as much as I'd love it to,
but in 10 and 20 years' time, this is going to be looked back upon as one of Spielberg's
It's going to be one of those. I said this to you as we were leaving, but this is going to be one of those films that they show in those clip reels of like, this is classic Hollywood filmmaking, in which they show like a clip of a bunch of different films. This is going to be in the Oscars reel for God knows how many years, because it just looks that good, and it's so standout. So our recommendation for this week,
film of the week, West Side Story.
West Side Story,
which is bonkers on a week with
I'm not
Spider-Man.
kidding. I'm not kidding. If you're a film nut and you're standing with your options of being Spider-Man or West Side Story, we're telling you to go see West Side Story. And then come out and see Spider-Man after. But go see West Side Story. Please go support
Spider-Man's
this film.
Spider-Man's going to be in for the next, like, 10
3
months.
weeks.
Yeah.
7 years. Spider-Man No Way Home will be playing.
Yeah, exactly. You've got time.
Please go see West Side Story. Please. We're literally on our knees begging you to go see this film, because it's so worth it.